To tonight's mini wellness workshop. I am so excited to be on with my friend Dustin Schaffer tonight. It is going to be an awesome topic. In the comments below, type Ultimate Summer Reset if you are currently committed to the Ultimate Summer Reset. We have 4 different categories that we are doing. We're doing mindset, nutrition, movement, and ketones. So tonight we're going to focus on ketones. But those other categories, we're going to spend each Monday on each of those categories. So today is going to be the ketones. I'm really excited to really dive into the ketone parts of things. What is the goal that you are wanting from the summer reset? I took a little poll to see what it is that people are craving when it comes to the summer reset. And here are some of the things that people told me that they are going for during the summer reset. They said fat loss. Does anyone else have a fat loss goal that they're going for the ultimate summer reset? I love it. Healthy aging, longevity, creating healthy habits was another one. Better sleep, balanced hormones. Some people said performance, better digestion. Some people talked about lifting their brain fog and better memory and focus. I had some people say that they wanted help with their cravings, so that's why they're doing the ultimate summer reset. I had people say they need more energy all day long, so that's why they're doing this. And another one was nervous system regulation. So we're going to kind of go through all of that tonight so you can see how ketones are going to help with each one of those things and really how to utilize ketones to maximize each of those categories. So if I haven't got to get to meet you yet, my name is Sarah Ramos. I live in Boise, Idaho. I have been drinking ketones for 9 years now. I have never missed a day of drinking ketones. The benefits are just so unbelievable. I feel like I've had a little bit of all of the benefits within these different chapters of my life. It definitely started with mood. My husband was like, "What is it that you are drinking? You are in such a good mood." And to start your day excited and happy is a really, really big deal. And then it immediately went into a fat loss journey for me because my cravings shifted. And the things that I thought that I would never let go of, like sugar, all of a sudden I wasn't craving anymore. I wasn't going to Olive Garden and getting never-ending pasta. Like, it is crazy how much ketones can shift your appetite and shift your cravings. When I got pregnant with the ketones, I was so thankful for the sleep that you get from ketones. Is there anybody else that is like, thank goodness that one of the benefits of ketones is sleep, because I sleep so much better now. I was also thankful for the balancing of my hormones and going from fight or flight to rest and digest, being a mama. Like, I didn't know I needed that until I became a mom and they start climbing on those monkey bars, and that fight or flight is so fast, but thank goodness for ketones. And then postpartum, it's just been so amazing to be able to release that baby fat. And so there's just so many amazing things with ketones, and we're all so uniquely different. So I am so excited to dive into specifically ketones tonight when it comes to our ultimate summer reset. And I have my friend Dustin on here, who he has the answer to everything when it comes to ketones. He is the expert. Whenever I ask him, his answers are so great. I learn so much every single time. I promise you, you're going to leave wanting more after this, because the way he answers the questions are so phenomenal. So if you are a guest on here, thank you so much for taking your time to be on here. If you have been drinking ketones for a while, or you are part of the business opportunity, thank you so much for being on here. It is going to be a really great call. So I'm going to turn it over to my friend Dustin to just introduce himself, maybe see a little bit of his background and what got him interested in ketosis, because it's a really cool story.
Hey, I do have to ask a question though. How did ketones make you pregnant?
There's keto babies out there, Dustin.
Your
I can go
ketones made
on
you
and on,
pregnant,
but
or
there's
during
keto babies out there.
pregnancy? We've had 3, so through the process. All right. Well, hey guys, my name is Dustin Schaffer. I've been just to kind of give you a perspective. I'm 48, and I got my first weight set when I was 8 years old. So, as Dr. Wilson was born to be a scientist, I was born to be into health and wellness. And for whatever reason, I think it was because of the demise of my family, everybody getting sick and dying young. I just always got interested in wellness and health and fitness. And so, but my background is I was a former recon Marine college athlete. The sad thing was, is I lost my career, got cut short in my dreams of doing something magnificent in football. And I lost use of half my face. I forgot my friends and I lost use of my leg for a year. I needed a knee replacement at 24 years old, and I got diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. So my life just kind of fell out underneath me. And when you're young and you're looking forward to everything, and everything stops on a dime, it makes you really have to look in and look for answers. And so I spent all the money I had at the time trying to figure out what was wrong with me. Traditional medicine, holistic medicine, Western medicine, German medicine, Russian medicine, Chinese medicine. Like I tried like crazy stuff you shouldn't try. I tried, and nothing made me feel better. And what happened was, is I actually decided to do a 5 day fast, go 5 days without food. And day five, well, four and a half, I woke up, and the guy that I used to be, I became again. And it was just crazy. My friends, we were literally, like in the backyard where you have like the concrete patios. It's called a patio, but it's concrete, which I don't understand. But anyway, it's concrete patios. Well, we were jackhammering that up and we were carrying it to the front of the yard, throwing it in a dumpster. And it was those huge driveway sized dumpsters. And I did like a third of it myself, and there was like 10 dudes there. I couldn't stop. I was just rah. They were stopping to eat, and I'm just working. And it was the first time I really experienced a deep state of ketosis and what it's like to feel great. So for a year as a health practitioner, I'm a neuromuscular body specialist. I specialized in hormones and how you carry body fat. Like where you carry body fat is directly correlated to hormones inside your body. So I worked in this really extreme environment, cool environment, health and wellness, but I was sick, if that makes any sense. And so through that journey, I fired every doctor that I had. I went and took control of my life. I got into a state of ketosis. It took me a year to figure out how to be in that state. This is in 2001, y'all, just so you know, like early on, like super early on in the state. And I woke up and I felt like I had finally figured out an answer, one of the many answers in my health journey. And this was one of the many answers. And for 15 years, I did a ketogenic diet on and off. Meaning off is when I screwed up and I ate something I shouldn't have. On was I was on there almost every day of my adult life. And I figured out a way to live my life and thrive. Have my autoimmune condition under control. My brain started getting better. It wasn't better yet. And when I got introduced to ketones, I was excited because on the way from my wife's a Marine, and so we're driving from North Carolina to California, and where she's in the back of the car, pregnant. I had a bed there made for her, and we're driving across the country, and she's like, we got to talk, and that's not what you want to hear from your wife, and I'm like, what's going on? She goes, we got to change your diet. You can't do this. It's going to screw up our kids. You're so extreme on your diet that our kids are going to have this weird complex with food. So this is a real conversation. We get to California, we're in birthing class, and I meet a dude that says, what if you could just drink ketones instead of doing the diet? True story. And I'm like, that'd be awesome. And that was the launch of Prove It. And we started drinking ketones. After about 2 years, I stopped the ketogenic diet. I do a hybrid. I cycle in and out using our iFast and belly burn. And I'll get a little deeper in, but I come back to a normal, more my normal, and I go back in, but I keep drinking ketones daily. And it's transformed my life. But the biggest benefit I've gotten of ketones is this. Because of my head injury was so severe, I get a little emotional, so I apologize, but I never thought I'd ever get to go on a roller coaster with my kids. And the backseat of a car would tear me up. I mean, I was out for days. Like you couldn't touch my head. Like everything was so sensitive. I'd wore my sunglasses for 20 years. And after 6 months of drinking ketones, and remember at the time I was still on the ketogenic diet, just to show you the significance of how deep you have to be and how high ketone levels have to be. Like, this is why it's so important that you just don't try ketones, that you use ketones consistently. 6 months later, I owned my first roller coaster. I've been on every single roller coaster in the country that I can go on at the biggest ones possible, and my kids love them. And I have no fear. I don't get crash. I don't get emotional. I don't start bawling. I don't pass out. That used to happen on me on roller coasters, and now there's no problem in there. I had a brain scan done. The last brain scan I had done, my brain looks like it's less than 22, under 22 years old. It looks like it's a young little baby and a beautiful, beautiful brain. And so I'm super grateful for Prove It, because without ketones, I couldn't get there with the diet alone. And now I get to find a better way to live my life. So, Sarah, I know that's a longer story than I usually tell, but I'm excited because I want to help everybody have some kind of an experience, and I want to help you get the best experience possible. And there's different ways to use ketones for different things that you're looking for, and I'm going to teach you each one of those today.
Dustin, that was so good. And I have not heard your story in depth like that. I got a little tear over here because it involves your kids and being able to do something
Yeah,
that you didn't
pretty
think you were going to be
special.
able to do. Ugh. Okay, so let's start with the basics. So those of us that are on here drinking ketones, we're probably all drinking a different amount of ketones every single day. Some of us are drinking 1 serving, some of us are drinking 2, some of us are drinking 3 servings of ketones a day. Put in the chat, how many servings of ketones are you drinking a day? Let's talk about someone who is just starting off with 1 packet of ketones per day. What would you say to best coach them on like how to best utilize that 1 packet? Like when should they be drinking it throughout the day?
Yeah, this is a great question. And this is super important. I want you all to listen really clearly here. And Sarah's going to ask me some questions about a lot of things that you might be working through, some maybe anxiousness and maybe stress, maybe it's appetite control, maybe it's fatigue and you need it for energy. And I want you to look at this from those perspectives. Too many people believe that they just have to drink it in the morning because that's what somebody told them to do. And that's probably going to be for most people. But this is when you really want to drink ketones, is when you need it the most. So if you're a person that's high stress and you're kind of an anxious person, that's kind of like me, and you only got 1 serving, you want to drink it when you're the most stressed. So if you wake up in the morning, you're like cool as a cucumber, you're chill. I love mornings, so I'm like super good in the morning. But as the day gets going, it gets away from me. So if that's at 10 o'clock in the morning, then have it at 9. If it's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, then have it at 1. If you're somebody that tends to crash in the afternoon, ladies, I see a lot of ladies on here. If you have men that crash in the afternoon, you know what I'm talking about, right? Give it to them an hour before they start to get a little tired or a little crashy, and then it carries them the rest of the day. So I really believe that a lot more people should be prioritizing afternoon ketones more than morning ketones. Now, some people can drink in the morning and they get it all day long, but that's not always the case. So I think is the best time to take it is when you need it the most. So if you're high stress in the afternoon, have it in the afternoon. If you're high or low energy in the afternoon, have it in the afternoon. About an hour before the normal time. If you wake up fatigued and tired, you need to get the day going, then have it in the morning. If you're able to have 2 a day, have morning and then afternoon. But I still want you to plan it when you need it the most, not because some schedule told you that this is when you're supposed to take it. And so just to be transparent, I often don't have my first one until 9, 10 o'clock. Why? Because I'm pretty awesome in the morning. Like I'm really good I'm really good in the morning. I don't feel like I need anything other than what I had from when I woke up. But around that 10 o'clock, I can turn it on a little bit better. For me, it's more anxiousness. I get kind of anxious and it keeps me more balanced. So that's what I use it for. So Sarah, that's really when you want to do it, is morning and afternoon, kind of depending on when you need it the most is when you're going to have it. Take all rules and throw them out the window. I promise you that'll serve you more than anything else.
I love it. I like drinking mine first thing in the morning before my kid wakes up because that's where I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to remind her 55 times to eat her breakfast, get dressed, and get out the door for school. So it's definitely mornings for me, but I like that. Just to throw the system out, listen to your body, like whenever you need it the most, that's when you need to be drinking your ketones. Okay, let's go through some different goals that people might have with doing this ultimate summer reset and just talk about how to best coach them through utilizing ketones to hit their goals. So let's start with fat loss because I did see there's a lot of people on here that have a goal of losing some fat. So how would you coach someone with ketones to have a successful fat loss journey?
Okay, and just so you know, this is its own call, by the way. So I'm going to give you a condensed version of this, and very soon we have a whole coaching platform to give you in the next week or so that you can have all that information. But how it's going to work is that most people, when we're looking at fat loss, we really want calories got to come down. Okay, so no matter what, you got to eat less than your body can burn. So that's just what I hope that makes sense. You have to eat less to lose body fat. If you're eating too much and you're not losing weight, it's because you're eating too much. Okay. How do ketones play a role is a few things. One, we have option one is we're going to replace breakfast. I'm going to trick you here, or you're going to replace dinner. And I want you to try both and see which one you like better. So you're going to use the ketones for breakfast. wake up in the morning, drink your ketones. You're going to extend your first fast, eat maybe around 11 or 12 o'clock, and then don't eat after 8 p.m. Super important. You don't want to eat 3 hours before you go to bed. Okay. Keto Pro is the only exception. You can have that because it doesn't mess you up. The other way of doing it is you eat breakfast. How many breakfast people are out there? How many of you love breakfast? Do you love breakfast? Let's eat it. I'm gonna mess you up. I know it. I know it because you've been following all the rules. I want you to eat your breakfast. If you still need ketones, have them at 10 o'clock. Have them before breakfast. I don't care actually. Have them if you like them because they're amazing for so many reasons. But eat your breakfast, eat your lunch, and then replace your dinner, their last meal, with your ketones. Now, if it's too late, you're going to have to switch to non-caffeine. Okay. If you're having 2 a day, perfect. Have one in the morning, and then you can have a ketone in the afternoon or a Keto Pro for dinner. Okay. Non-caffeine. So you can do it either way. And the reason we like to do this is because when you close your eating window down to a smaller window, like 8 hours, you're eating between either, let's say you eat between 7 and 3, 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. You just closed your eating window and then you're fasting from 3 p.m. all the way to the next day. So you're just going to eat less calories. The only thing I add on that is fat loss is your goal. The one thing that you have to do is you still have to hit your protein goals. And I'm going to give you a range. Women, you're going to want to eat between 70 grams of protein a day to 120 grams of protein a day, primarily animal-based protein. Men, you need between 100 and 150 grams of protein a day. And the rule is you can't have too much. You can always have more. High side, better. Okay? Older you are, the better. More. The science is getting more and more clear here. So that's the only rule I care about for weight loss and ketones. Okay. Now, last little thing about this is the first thing I said about when do you need it the most? That should still primarily be your method of when you take it. So if you're a person that wakes up with vigorous vitality, you feel good, you have an appetite in the morning, then eat breakfast, save your ketones. If you only have one shot to have them, then have them in the afternoon. Or have it at like 10 o'clock and then later, a little bit later, and then fast all night. Now with kids, it's a little easier for me to skip breakfast. It's harder for me to skip dinner with kids. So I have a life choice I'm making, okay? So some of you are north of 50 and maybe you have kids out of the house and you don't care, then you can skip dinner, right? And listen, one more thing. It doesn't have to be the same thing every day. You could do it one way and then 2 days later do it the other way. Rules, throw them away. It's just about eating less, prioritizing protein, drink your ketones once to twice a day. Okay. Last thing I'll say about weight loss and fat burning is exercise is crucial, you all. And I will do another talk about exercise, but it's got to be more than just brisk walking. So, but that's the minimum. There should be more than that. Hope that helps.
Yeah, and you're going to notice with each one of these questions that they could be a call within themselves. I told Dustin how many questions I had for him, and he said that's going to be a 4.5 hour call. So I'm telling you, you're going to be left wanting more. And let's go on to the next question. So let's talk about gut health and digestion.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about both directions. So let's say somebody starts on ketones and they have loose stools. I've had people experience that before. How can you guide them to continue drinking their ketones if they are experiencing that?
Yeah. So first thing is to keep in mind is that ketones actually now have been shown to heal the gut lining. So you got to remember that they're trying to go to work. 95% of Americans or Western civilizations have some type of low level gut inflammatory markers, meaning their gut's not as healthy as it should be. So ketones are trying to heal them. So it confuses some things. And then you add into the healing effect, you add in people changing their diet. And then our ketones are a mineral ketone, being they're ketone salt. And those can cause, if you change your diet too quickly with those, it can actually get loose, right? And it can work both ways, by the way. So what you want to do is a few things. If you're somebody that's experiencing maybe loose stools, we'll say, on ketones, keep in mind that it's not common, but it's not unnormal either. It happens. And it happens when anytime people make major changes. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to a half a serving, cut down, reduce it in half, slow the drinking time. So drink a little slower. Okay. That's the first thing you're going to want to do. Second thing you want to do is we want to add bulk to your stools. So often what happens is people start drinking ketones, they start eating less food, and then they start cutting out carbohydrates because it's natural. Now, I never once said weight loss, you have to cut out carbohydrates. It definitely helps by cutting out carbohydrates because you eat less and you're cutting out a lot of the sugary, non-good foods and you're prioritizing protein. But when you do that, it reduces the bulk in your stool. So your stool has less bulk, slowing the transit time down. So when then you pound ketones, it actually speeds up. Okay. There's two reasons why this is super important. One is you don't want the ketones, you want the ketones going slowly through your GI tract because you're going to absorb more and you feel better. Okay. Number two, it's just not pleasant. So this is what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have it. You're going to want to have a meal before you have your ketones. Start with a half a serving. That might solve it all. If that doesn't, you're going to want to have a meal first. Eat a meal and definitely have protein and some type of fiber based meal with it. So vegetables, you can add some psyllium husk, like it's super inexpensive. You can add some psyllium husk. You can take it in a powder form or you can put it in pill form and have about 5-6 grams of fiber with your meal before. Why? Fiber bulks up. It actually slows down the transit time. If you were eating all the vegetables you should be eating, you would have enough fiber. But because people don't eat enough, it slows down the bulk. Well, fiber also helps create better bacteria in your gut. Now, if you're a carnivore person out there, I want you to just ignore me for a second because that's another longer topic and we're not going to go there. Okay. I'm talking about normal eating people. We need this fiber. Okay. So you're going to have your ketones then after your meal. Okay. So have breakfast and then have your ketones or have lunch and then have your ketones. Okay. This is super important because we need to improve the gut health, overall gut health. And ironically, this will work for constipation and diarrhea exactly the same. And I know that seems kind of crazy, but it normally works the exact same for both people. Okay. So if your goal is weight loss, what is psyllium husk? Psyllium husk is it's a natural fiber. You can buy it. It's very inexpensive, and it basically it absorbs fluid, but it also has insoluble fiber in it, which doesn't absorb, and it'll just help. It usually helps the gut lining get kind of healthy. But there's a lot of things on Amazon that you can look up, like prebiotic fibers, organic vegan fibers. There's a million kind out there. I don't like things like Metamucils and things like that because they often add other things for constipation, and that can confuse people. Plain and simple, you just need fiber with nothing else added to it. Okay, let's keep it simple. But what's the most important thing is eat more vegetables, low carb vegetables. That's what you really want to do. So things like broccoli and cauliflower and asparagus and Brussels sprouts, lots of green leafy vegetables. You want to increase your vegetable base. What that'll do is that'll naturally get this gut in alignment. Okay. Because you have to replace all the stuff you've taken out of your diet when it comes to this bulking of the stools. Okay. And then once you get it kind of healthy, then you don't have to be so over the top perfect on it. And so that's how it's going to work. Now, if you're a person that is trying to fast, intermittent fast, and do all these other things, I tell people then focus on gut health before you focus on the fasting. If your gut's not, because it's just super healthy to have your gut really aligned properly and having really good stools. So focus a couple weeks on getting your gut back in line and then bring back the intermittent fasting. What you're going to have to do is if you have to eat 3 meals a day to keep everything going in the right manner, you just have to eat smaller meals so that your calories are still down so that you can maintain that. So I hope that helps. But that works for constipation and diarrhea both, but it's increasing fiber in your diet, using either supplementation, but I prefer it through vegetable base, but you may have to do both. A little bit of fiber, psyllium husk pills or powder, or a little bit of, and then Dr. Heather actually has a really cool chia pudding that helps too, because it's another way to get some fiber and it's low carb. It's a nice little snack.
That's so good. And I love that it's the same protocol for both.
Both.
I have a friend that she could not go number 2 for days, and I couldn't imagine what that feels like. It would be terrible. And ketones have really been the solution for her. So
Yep.
amazing. Okay, I'm going to keep going. So let's talk if somebody is hooked on like energy drinks, or there's somebody that needs like a nap in the middle of the day. So their goal is really to have like all day energy with ketones. How would you coach that person on like being most successful with their journey?
Yeah, so if you're people that need energy, that are really struggling with energy, there's actually three phases that we got to look at. And so the first one is, like I mentioned earlier, you just take it about an hour before you need it. If you need the energy in the afternoon, take your ketones. Like, don't have it in the morning. Like, wait. If you only get one option, if you only have, you only can have one. If you can have two, just have one in the morning and one in the afternoon. But have it with caffeine. If you're a person that needs energy, have it with the caffeine. You probably are addicted to it anyway. But that leads me to the second thing you should do. If you're really struggling with energy, there's people out there right now that'll have the caffeinated ketones and still get tired. They are probably have adrenal issues and they need to cut caffeine all the way out. And that's a month-long process. It's not easy. It's not fun. It sucks. I actually am that person. So I either have to drink caffeine all day long, or I can't have it at all. But it takes me about a week to 10 days to completely get off caffeine. And I have headaches and withdrawals and I feel horrible. So I just never stop. I just line it up into my IV. Truly, true story. So anyway, so what you want to do though, if you're somebody that, hey, listen, you're caffeine sensitive, well, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to slowly pull yourself off of all caffeine and only use non-caffeine ketones because they still give you the same energy, but that way you're not crashing. So if somebody crashes 2 or 3 hours after they have caffeine, they usually have a problem. It's them. So we got to get them all the way off of caffeine. Okay. And basically cold turkey and then, or slowly cut it down and then switch over to non-caffeine ketones. The third part of this person is maybe we have to improve their sleep. So what I like to do is somebody that needs a lot of energy and that's struggling. Actually, you guys know the voice of Siri. She's on our team. The actual voice lady of Siri. She's on our team, and it was the coolest thing meeting her. But she's like, I've been drinking these ketones for a month, and I don't have any more energy. And I'm like, when's the last time you slept through the night? She goes, it's been 25 years. I'm like, oh, well, there you go. I go, ketones aren't going to correct your sleep dysfunction by giving you more energy if you just need to rest. So I go, what we're going to do is switch you over to the non-caffeine in the afternoon, and we're going to do a keto pro or keto chill at night in about an hour before you go to bed. She started sleeping through the night. After 2 weeks, 2 weeks, she had all the energy she's ever needed because we just improved her sleep. We didn't focus on the energy. We focused on the rest and recovery. So these are just some little hacks that you can do to help people get better. So it's okay to do a keto in the morning, caffeine keto in the afternoon, and then a chill at night. That's what I do. And I sleep like a baby, but I have energy all day long and I kick butt for my family. That's the recipe I figured out for myself.
That's awesome. You kind of answered my next question about sleep because sometimes people toss and turn all night long. They can't turn their brain off. So is that what they should be doing? Is doing like the non-caffeine before bed, the pro and the chill? Is that what you would suggest?
I have actually four things I recommend you to try. So you
Okay.
start with what you have, and then you add what you don't. So here's the four. Before you go to bed, and I'm not going to say, I'm going to say this too. Yeah, it's good to have a dark room. It's good to go to bed at the same time every night. It's good to, black out the blinds. It's good to turn off your cell phone. It's good to do all those other things. But listen, we're busy people. Somebody wrote in the chat, people got to relax a little bit. Anybody that writes in the chat that people have to relax obviously doesn't have a busy life. Like I need to relax. I get it. I still don't. It's like telling somebody not to worry, right? It's like, well, I'm already worrying, so I can't just not worry. I get it though. We want to try to create environments to set ourselves up for a rest, right? And the more intentional we can be of that, the better. Okay. So how do we actually improve sleep? Utilizing tools, though, is really important. Is what we want to do is you want to start with, if you have ketones at home and that's the only thing you have your ketones about an hour, non-caffeine about an hour before you go to bed. Try it for 3 days. If you're not sleeping any better, then we'll try next one and the next one is the one you buy. Because you may not have them. If you don't have them, buy one of them or buy all of them and try each of them. But the next one you can try is our Keto Chill. And it comes in little bottles and you can just drink it. Comes in a pack of six. I would probably try 2 packs of those. Chill works great for me, but I found one that works even better, and I split between the two. Okay. For some people, the Keto S Pro, the protein works really well. And now, what I've found out is every one of them work differently for different people, and that's why I think all of them matter. Is ketones? It's usually because you have anxiety, more of a stress in your brain. So when the ketones work, it's usually calming down your mind. It's quieting your mind down. When the chill works, it's more that you're more of an anxious type of person. When the pro works, it's usually because your body is dropping blood sugar too fast. And you're basically waking up to go eat and hunt. And that's very common in pre-diabetics or even diabetics. So the Keto Pro is going to extend food throughout the night. Okay. And it's going to give you nutrients and energy throughout the night. So your body doesn't want to wake up to go eat. Okay. So if you're a person that wakes up hungry or wants to go eat, then have a Keto Pro. It's going to work really well. And all these are about an hour before you go to bed. You want to make sure you go to the bathroom before you go to bed. So you don't want to go pee all night long. Now, there's one more special formula I have, and this is for the high anxious, high goer. I want to conquer the world. I want to work 24/7 person. Is I actually do the liquid ketones. We also call them Mexican ketones with a mitoplex in it. And that's what I use before I go to bed most nights. So I either do that or the keto chill. Those are the two that I do about an hour before I go to bed. And so one of those four things help you sleep and help you sleep better. Now we are bringing back an old product that not old, but a product that we put off the shelf. We're going to bring it back, I hope. And that's another way of doing it, but I'm not going to talk about that because it's not available right now.
Oh, that was such a cliffhanger. We all have to wait and see. Okay, let's talk about women's hormones. You are so educated on women's hormones. And so let's talk about maybe that person who is having a challenge with their hormones right now, maybe weight gain, night sweats, hot flashes, leg cramps. Is there anyone that's ever experienced any of those things on this call? How would you best coach that person with ketones and a schedule for them?
Yeah, so this is another 4 hour conversation. I just watched anyway, I'm not going to get into all of it. Maybe I can another day. But this is how I'm going to say is that hormones are changing and shifting. And the challenge, first thing for ladies, there's a few things that you have to remember. First off, what's happening to you is normal. It's not abnormal. Doesn't mean it has to be the way it is. So I'm not saying that's to just be that way, but meaning your body is supposed to change. That's what I mean by normal. It's not that it's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to change. At the same time, there's ways that you can work around it. And so you have one side of it is the medical side that I'm not going to talk about, like taking hormones and doing the hormone replacements and all that other stuff. And that's, you have to find somebody to do that with if you choose to go on that route. But the side that you can control though, and I will give you this, if you're on a weight loss journey, your hormones are all out of whack, it's complicated because you're fighting biology and you're trying to get healthy all at the same time. And it doesn't mean that calorie in, calorie out still doesn't work. It just means it's harder, meaning that you have cravings and you want to punch somebody in the face for a donut and you're fighting that urge. And sometimes you lose and sometimes you punch the person in the face and you grab the donut. I'm just playing. But this is where it gets tough. This is where some of us guys got to be like, you just got to have discipline. I just want to smash that person when they say that because they don't realize it's real, right? And it's a fight you're having inside of you. And so I got to go back to this. Is my mom taught me something special because when she started ketones, she was 65 and life was complicated. She always kept one in her purse. And she's a routine type person. She always had it in the morning, and then that's when she felt like she needed the most, right? But anytime she was having those fights, she would have her ketones again. And it didn't matter when it was. She might have a non-caffeine at 11 o'clock at night because next thing you know, one of her clients is in the hospital. She's running. She's just, anytime she needed it, she used it as her form of discipline, if that makes sense. She used it to replace what else might be going on. And it just took her, part of it is it changed her state, right? It just shake up ketones, made her happy. And it gave her a sense of security and safety. What are the ketones doing? Potentially relaxing her mind, potentially helping with cravings and other things like that might be triggered by a hormonal response or an emotional response or a jackass of a friend, a husband maybe, or that's me. My wife's like, sometimes you just stress me out. So sometimes the ketones are just distracting us from that. But what I want to say is the one other thing that you can remember is this, is that when it comes to the hormone change, the few things that you have control over is your blood sugar and your insulin reaction. So by drinking ketones and becoming more carb conscious and increasing your protein intake is stacking all the odds in your favor to basically support this journey. And ladies, I could talk for so many hours. I have so much new stuff to add to this on this topic. Most women that I know have been perpetually trying to lose weight for 40 years. And when you do that, you cause a lot of deficiencies. You cause a lot of bad habits that create malnourishment. So it's very common. I used to run blood work, and it was like 97 pages long, about 8 grand for the blood labs. That's what we used to charge for them. And it was stunning to me that almost everybody came back vitamin D deficient, magnesium deficient, iron deficient. Their selenium was usually low, thyroid sluggish because of the lack of protein in the selenium, not because they had necessarily a thyroid issue. It's just that they were so deprived of nutrients, they were lacking omega-3 fatty acids and just little things that in short term don't matter. In chronic states, it just perpetually causes more imbalances, not just the hormone thing they're going through. So for some people out there, and I wish more people would take this serious, and I can't figure out a way to do it better than what's coming with the new launch of protocol, is we can't be in weight loss mindset all the time. We have to be in performance and refeed mindset. Meaning you should take 2 months a year. If you want to lose 100 pounds, 2 months a year, your goal should be to do some type of physical performance improvement and not lose weight at all. And refeed your body, fill it with the nutrients that it needs. Think about it. Like, we would never ask a child to, like, hey, the next 7 years, I want you to not eat enough food. Like, just saying it sounds horrible, right? But yet that's what we're doing. And you see the challenge I have with this, because what happens is, as soon as you go long enough without some of these nutrients, then your body is starting to fiend for it. And then you're trying to, and those nutrients are important to balance everything else out. And then we have to go get somebody else to add hormones into us to try to balance it out. But we still haven't solved some of the underlying problems. Not to say that that's going to solve all the problems. It just stacks all the odds in our favor. So my challenge to everybody out there and ladies going through this is take a break for a minute. Be okay with where you're at. And I know you may not be happy with your weight, but be okay for 30 days to not change. To try to maybe do some type of strength and get stronger at something, whatever that is, planks, lunges, push-ups, whatever that might be, and feed. Like, go find high quality food, get high omega-3s, high protein, high nutrient dense food, and just eat. Let your body, like, actually get the good stuff in for a month before you go after it and try to lose a bunch more weight. And I can promise you this. I did this with my sister. I said, listen, let's just take a month off and let's just be awesome for a month and not worry about losing weight for a month. And fortunately, she was not in so much of a hurry to do it. And I think that's why she's been able to maintain it so well. And so that's what I'm going to encourage for everybody out there is that's part of it too. So I know I went on my soapbox. I apologize.
No, it was good. It was actually firing me up. I'm like, I'm actually upping my protein right now. I'm more
Yeah.
excited about movement. Like, I can't wait to actually get those workouts for me. I need to remember to ask you for those, because
I
I'm so excited to do more. So that's just firing me up. Okay, let's go into ketones and performance. So there's lots of different avenues here. There's like runners, there's sports, there's weightlifters. How do you maximize performance with ketones?
So if you're really serious about performance, and I don't care what age you are, it's really important. And I'm going to hit two things with this one. It's really important to have your ketones before you work out. And it does two things. One, it's going to increase your ability to do more. So for most of us, we just need to work harder in our workouts. There's a lot of science, and it's like, if you can do a 40-minute workout and you go 30 minutes kind of just average, the 10 minutes go hard. Whatever that is, get your heart rate up, get your muscles fatigued. It'll pay off, I promise. It's one of the best gifts you can give your body for longevity and health. And obviously, joint appropriate. Don't hurt your joints doing it. But the second benefit of that is that is the major way to reduce cognitive decline, is have ketones before you exert your body. Now, granted, you only need to go for a mile walk to get that benefit, to cognitively enhance your benefit of ketones on the brain. But the more that you exert it physically, the more that you're going to get a positive return on brain health and performance and your muscle health. The only thing I want to add to that is that after your workout, within 2 hours, have ketones again, if you really want to recover properly. And it could be just a keto pro after your workout, which is what I recommend. And so those are the two things. It's really a simple, about 40 minutes before your workout, start drinking your ketones, and then go do it. Like, I don't care if it's, 30 minutes, if it's 15 minutes, if it's an hour, just go work and work hard when you're there, and then leave it, and then come home and rest and recover and have a keto after, or a keto pro after.
Awesome. Okay, I have 3 questions left. I think the, like, former teacher in me wants to get through the whole lesson because this is just so good. I just can't not ask one of these questions. Okay, so let's talk about like brain cognition. So there's like lifted brain fog, there's concussions, there's like memory loss as we age. Would you coach each of those people the same if their outcome is like better brain cognition?
Not completely, but similar. I think one thing we have to keep in mind is that if you have a high brain fog, and let's say you start drinking ketones, you have brain fog and your brain lifts a little bit. But the question you have to ask yourself is that, is it fully clear? We don't know what optimal really is. Like, does that make sense? Like, it can be better, but is it really as good as it needs to be? And so part of the brain cognition side of it is that we also want to look at detoxing. And so the only way to get good detoxing, so this is what I recommend for people that are like want enhancement in cognition, is you want to have ketones elevated for a sustained period of time. So I do actually recommend at least 5 days and do the 5 day belly burn and focus on cognition. Do like a cognitive test. Go on your do like an app or something, especially if you're brand new. If you haven't done this before or just started with Prove It, is do like a test or do a Scrabble, something that challenges your brain, and then do the 5 day belly burn and then see what happens with your cognition. And then when you come off the 5 day belly burn, go back to your normal diet, still drinking ketones, and see if it maintains. If it doesn't, it tells me that we need to clean out the cobwebs more. So you have damaged protein that builds up in your brain as we age. So it doesn't matter if you've been hit in the head before, or if you have ADHD or focus issue, or you have, just cognitive decline from aging. You have to get that brain cleaned and cleared. And there's things that can hinder the clearing of the brain. One's alcohol, one's lack of sleep. So you clear mostly at night and sleeping. So it's one of the reasons why people feel better when they drink ketones at night, is because it helps clear out the damaged protein. So that's the one side of it. And the other side of it is any energy uptake. So for people like me that had a brain injury and aging, right? So your brain's aging, which is has a downside to it. And then you have the brain injury side of it. It's about saturation. And this is probably the same thing with memory decline. It's about saturation. So this is a situation where you either drink ketones 3 times a day, or you stack the odds in your favor. You start going maybe a modified ketogenic diet or a modified low carb diet for 3 to 6 months, maybe longer, because you want to maintain saturations. I want to remind you all that my brain didn't get all the way back until I was doing a pretty good ketogenic diet with ketones. That's what it took for my brain to actually get over the hump. Dr. Brett Scher, he does metabolic research and brain health and mood disorders. He talks about that. It's ketogenic therapies, and it's about the dose of ketones in your body for a sustained amount of time. It's not about just being in ketosis. And so when you start talking about brain health, and I work with too many people that are their brains starting to go fast. Like, I'm the guy that gets on the call with, oh, my dad, I don't know if there's anything we can do for him. Or, hey, I have a 16-year-old kid that just did a skateboarding accident going down a large hill, hit his brain with no helmet on, and he's in the hospital and he doesn't remember his family. Like, those are the calls I get on. And it's sad, but I'm always like, you got to go saturate that brain for an extended period of time and give it a lot of time for it to rejuvenate itself. And not everybody's committed to that. So the reason why I say this is because I don't want anybody to judge our product based off it can't bring somebody back from a really bad incident, because sometimes the damage has already been done. Sometimes we can't grow the leg back, if that makes sense. Like, the leg's gone, we're gonna have to make the best we can without the leg, right? And so my stepdad had no leg, so I'm used to that analogy. But it can take 3 6 months. I would say within 6 months, if you don't start seeing, and you're going to see improvements, but if you don't see a significant improvement and it's really dialed in, then that's where you have to start to consider that might be the best we have, at least with just this approach alone. Maybe you combine it with some other approaches. Therapy, there's really good actually cognitive therapy out there that people don't do and they ignore. I personally have a therapist for my brain when I was injured, and I combined that with everything else I did. I didn't do one or the other. I did them both together.
Nice. I love looking at the comments. I don't know if you've been seeing them, but people
Some of them.
just keep talking about how amazing this call is. So we appreciate you so much. I have 2 questions left. Okay. How about nervous system regulation? Like, how it takes you from fight or flight to just this calmness. I have so many customers that drink ketones to help calm their body down. How would you best coach that person that is anxious all the time, that wants to drink the ketones to really calm their nervous system down?
Yeah, this is a great question because this is me. I've been anxious my whole life, for whatever reasons, and but I'm gonna say something to you. A lot of you that maybe don't understand this. The one of the things that you don't want to do with an anxious person, if you're a person that knows somebody that's anxious, and or you're the anxious person, one of the best things that you can do for an anxious person is to move them, get them moving. Don't slow them down. So use ketones as a tool to get them out and perpetuate and move them. Now, two different anxious types. One with caffeine actually can calm them down. You ever know that you give somebody with ADHD a stimulant, it actually can relax them. So I'm saying this because sometimes you're so smart and you're telling somebody else what to do, and you might be telling them, no, no caffeine. Well, they may do better with the caffeine. They may calm them down more. And caffeine may be the thing that causes them to be more anxious. So you may want to look at both avenues. But I would once again look at it this way is one, if we move you, do you calm down? I'm a person where if I'm walking, I'm relaxed. If I'm sitting still, I'm more anxious. Okay. So what I do is use it as a tool to keep me moving because I'm better for everybody if I'm moving around. You ever watch me at an event? I stand, sit, move, stand, sit, move, stand, sit, move, walk, walk, pace, pace, pace. So that's how I use it for that tool. But for some of you that maybe are normally more calm and relaxed and not really a mover, and you get anxious, you want to do it and time it out. When do you get anxious the most? Have it about an hour before you get anxious. And then ultimately figure out what's the underlying cause of your anxiety or anxiousness, right? Is it your annoying husband? Figure that out. I'm not involved. I'm not involved. But figure out what are the things and then start working on maybe meditating, find mindfulness, work on the other tools to help you out with. But when it comes to anxiousness, just be aware that some of you need to move more and that'll help with your anxiousness. Some of you need to be able to sit still and use ketones, maybe the non-caffeine type. And if you're a person like me that you moved a lot as a child and you had this nervous energy, you're probably going to want to move as an adult and use the ketones as a tool to go exercise more and then come back from your movement. My wife is like, dude, you need to go work out. Like that's her. She knows because I'm getting like anxious. She goes, go work out. And then I come back relaxed. Right. So there's two sides to that one. And so just make sure that you're kind of applying it the right way for each person. So the person that's naturally anxious, maybe move more, use caffeine. The person that's normally relaxed and has become anxious, use the non-caffeine about an hour before when you find that anxiety higher. And it could be before bed. That's true. Still try the sleep remedy that I gave and then try that and see how it goes.
It's so good, Dustin. So good. Okay, last one. Let's talk longevity and healthy aging. You even said like your biological age of your brain is like 22, and that is so fascinating. We all want to feel good in our body and in our mind as we are aging. So, what is some advice that you could give someone that really wants to focus on longevity when it comes to ketones?
So most important, this is it. You want to have 2 servings of ketones a day. You want to eat a whole food diet, carb appropriate, let's call it diet with prioritizing protein. You can't eat enough. Like you can eat 400,000 steaks a day and it's not enough. Okay. So as much protein, I would tell you prioritize it. Some good healthy fish, as often as possible. So as for the ketone side of it, I would apply the ketone side with movement. So the more you can move, I would say if you want to live your best life, move at least twice a day. Okay. Um, at least twice a day, meaning where you're purposely exerting your body. So for my mom, she has a stationary bike. Sometimes she rides it casually. Sometimes she rides it and does interval training, right? So right before, about an hour before, 45 minutes before the bike, she drinks her ketones. The reason why is that you want to get the most out of your workout. You want those muscles working. And the second thing, it increases the uptake to your brain. And there's two things you never want to lose. There's three, Tom, there's three things you never want to lose. I want you guys to write this in the chat. There's three things you never want to lose when you get older. Do you all know what those three things are? What are the three things? I'm going to tell you exact order. Muscle, mind, and what's the third? Okay, so the number one thing you never want to lose in your ever is your brain. You never want your brain to shrink. You don't want to lose your mind. I've seen it too many times, and nothing's more sad than somebody losing their mind when they get older. And if you've ever been through that with somebody you care about, it's hard. Right? Number two, you never want to lose your muscle. there's enough evidence right now that'll show you if you lose muscle mass, you're more likely to lose your mind, and you're more likely to fall and break a bone. You're more likely to not make a high quality long term life. And the third thing you never want to lose is your money. So save it. Figure out a way to keep it. That's the third one. I just had to have fun. So yeah, brain, muscle, and money. You don't want to lose those when you get older. So you want to have plenty of those as you get older, because that helps you live your best life.
That's so funny. You tricked me on the last one. I was like, mobility. It's going to be mobility. Okay, so as we wrap up this call, is there anything that you want to add when it comes to like the summer reset that we're doing with the Core 4? It's so much more than ketones. You've talked about movement, talked about nutrition, a little bit about mindset. Is there anything that you want to add as we close this call out?
Yeah, I'll say this. Have a goal. Have a goal and a partner. Say your goal live. Mine's to get back to 20 pull-ups. That's my goal for the summer. I'm actually I want to lean out a little bit, but I'm doing it differently. I'm increasing my workouts and eating more. That's how I'm trying to lean out. So I'm trying to do it different than what most people do, is by eating less. I'm trying to eat more, and I'm working out more, if that makes any sense. So set a goal, set a high goal, and then tell people about it. Don't stop until your goal's done. Listen, if your goal is to lose 30 pounds, you don't stop until you're done, right? Now, you might take a break, refeed your body, and then keep going after it, okay? So set a goal and let's get it. Let's accomplish it. Right now, we're in the most unique time in history, and if you're part of this Prove It community or not, you may or may not know where we're going, but we're doing something that's never been done. What you're doing on here and what we've accomplished over the last 10 years, but more importantly, the last 35 minutes on the Zoom, is we're going to help inspire people to become the best version of yourselves. And you guys, like it or not, you're the role model for our future generations. I have 4 young kids, and I want to do everything I can for them not to deal with all the problems we've had to look forward to in our life. And we can change that. But we change that by being the example. We change that by being, and it's not always easy or not always be perfect, but keep going after your goals. So set one, have one, and go after it. And I promise you, just little adjustments. That's all you have to do. Just keep going and make little adjustments. So plug into these calls as much as you can and take what you can and implement the rest. So that's all I got.
So good, Dustin. Let's put in the chat a whole bunch of thank yous to Dustin. That was such great information, such a great call. If you are currently drinking ketones and you are not in that customer Facebook group, make sure you go join. It is so fun being able to celebrate together. And if you have meal ideas and if you're hitting goals, like it's so fun to support one another. So make sure that you're in there. If you are not drinking ketones yet, make sure you get back with the person that invited you to this call and let them know if you want to get started and how you want to get started and what your goals are. Just like Dustin said, like if you tell someone about that goal, you can really hold each other accountable, and it is such a beautiful thing. Also, as far as ketones, there is a holiday coming up, and you just never know with Prove It. Sometimes they do cool things on holidays, and I know this weekend is Father's Day, so stay tuned to that. And then lastly, every Monday night, same time, we're going to have mini wellness workshops just like this. So we'll go over the other 3 things that involve our Core 4. So we'll have a full call on nutrition, we'll have a full call on movement, and then we'll have a full call on mindset. And it's going to be really good. So tune back in here next Monday at the same time and have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.